Hi there, folks, and welcome to Stupid O'Clock. As you may have noticed, I am not Joe Dog McKeel, and neither is anybody else that's here tonight because Joe Dog has been working his butt off trying to get everything ready for HallowCon, and that makes the young boy very tired. And he is probably going to miss most of the Saturday night Stupid O'Clocks until after the convention. But the Thursday night ones, he'll do his best. They're early enough. He can show up. But with me tonight, we've got Joe Bachman and we've got John Scarborough, and we may have a few other people drop in. Here we got Rob Brown in the studio audience, and
Rob
everything
Brown and the
is,
Rob Brown Orchestra. Okay.
yes, everything is going
Joe needs to
fine.
find the guy that scheduled this Saturday night show for 11 to 1 and kick his ass.
I think there are laws against self abuse.
Only if you get caught.
I always wondered what. Well, I know because, of course, it was back during COVID. Nobody had anything to do, so 11 to 1 was actually a pretty good time slot. And then, um, hello, hello, Rob Brown, and of course, after the COVID lockdown ended, everybody went back to doing regular stuff, and now 11 to 1 does seem a bit, you know, are we still awake? You know,
Oh, really? My show is 1 to 3.
that's, that's your fault.
No, it's not. It's the stupid after show.
It
Uh,
was the stupid after show.
well, now it's green room light. Um, oh, don't
It's
know that how that happened. I think
it's the lime room.
the lime room.
The lime room.
Yeah, put the lime in the coconut and add some tequila.
Well, September 1st, I went and read up on it. We lost Jimmy Buffett. That's right, parrot heads. Wasting away in Margaritaville. And in his memory, John made a big damn margarita.
There
So,
you go.
There you go.
I'm trying not to step on a pop top.
that too. You know, one of my favorite things he ever did was his cameo in Jurassic World, where they're at the Jurassic Park. They're in the food court at Jurassic Park. The dinosaurs start attacking. Everybody's running for cover, and you see Jimmy Buffett grab the two margaritas off of his table and run for cover with the
Smart man.
Nice.
Get his priorities in order. Ah,
good night for margarita.
it's a good night for just about anything.
Hmm.
I'm happy to say that I finished the editing of all the short stories for tomorrow night's new issue of Epelion. I've still got stuff to do that doesn't have to do with the short stories, but we probably will be on time. I would say under budget, and then the staff would go, "We got a budget." I would go, "I got a budget. You got a free ride."
Excuse me.
And
I think I'm allergic to
public
margaritas.
service announcement: the orange equate version of Dayquil could probably give Southern Comfort a good run for its money. Doesn't have quite the same kick, but it tastes really good and it warms you up really fast. And I'm going, ooh, do I really have to wear a shirt tonight? Which Dawn said, no, no. And then she went to bed, so I got a shirt on. So,
Hey, wait a minute. Joe's not here. Let's go shirtless.
oh, right.
We'll have Stupid shirtless o'clock night. Shirtless, stupid o'clock night.
You and Chris are made out of muscles. I look like I'm made out of Tinker Toys and a beer gut.
I'm made out of
And I'm
beer.
not insulting Joe because he's bigger than I am.
I take off the shirt. It looks like I got another one on underneath anyway.
Built like a bear. Yes, indeed.
He's got that road worker tan.
I'd have to turn off the rest of the lights because otherwise it's just going to be one bright reflection. And the beacons of Gondor are lit.
Gondor calls for aid.
You saying you got a farmer's tan? You got one arm that hangs out the window of the truck, and from the shirt collar up, it's a little bit brown.
So it doesn't really show that well, but this arm is tan until you get up to here, where the light really reflects.
It is that time of year where I have to go out and yank my shirt off and get some sunshine, so I don't look like I have a permanent farmer's tan.
I used to do that at the beach, and then they kept trying to throw me back in the water.
Okay. Where is the regular band of miscreants we have on here most nights?
I don't have the faintest idea. Right now, it's just looks like me and John, Rob. So,
yeah.
You hear anything about Carl and Donna? Are they doing?
I have not heard a thing. I have not been on Facebook. I have not. I have been so busy doing Apelian stuff all day. Although Lindsay and I did have to go out this morning and get her a brand new pair of glasses. She got her prescription done last week, and we walk out of the store with $170 worth of groceries. It'll probably last us 2 days. And she goes, "Wow, that other prescription for the glasses I got last year must have been really messed up. I can see every leaf on every tree for 5 miles around."
It's amazing what a difference a prescription can make sometimes.
Well, sometimes they don't go right. I've got to say that I've had several prescriptions done where it looked really good in the big Google goggles that they flip. Is that better or is that better? Is it number one, number two? And then you get the glasses and it's like, did you make these for somebody else? Because I can't see shit.
I remember the first time I went to the eye doctor in my later years. I was having issues reading the whiteboard at the main NDOT office during training. Unless they were using a specific color of marker, I couldn't read a damn thing. So I finally broke down, went to the eye doctor, went through the whole, better 1, 2, this, that, and the other. And at the end, he goes, "Okay, this is how your vision is now." I'm like, "Okay," and I could read most of the little eye chart. And he goes, "This will be with your glasses." And he clicks it over. I go, "Holy shit, I'm blind as a bat."
I keep wanting Tom Baker to walk out of that TARDIS. Rob, believe it or not, that is the plan for my future well house. And that is a photograph of my yard where the present well house, which looks like a doghouse, is actually sitting. So that is my yard. And it's just reversed so I can figure out which way to point when I want to point to somebody else on the screen. It shows up the other way on everybody else's screens, but it's reversed for me. So pop the tortoise over on my what is my left shoulder, and you get pretty much an image of my southern side yard. Had to stop and think of the cardinal directions around here. East is that away. Um,
I almost feel like
whoa, I'm getting. Okay. So Windstream has decided that I'm going to be Max Headroom tonight.
I almost feel like I need to pull my green screen over.
Oh. Well, I've tried using different backgrounds, but people keep going, "Hey, hey, hey, where's the TARDIS?" So, what can I do?
We'll just do
Fans want
this.
what fans want.
Because I know right now, if I pull the green screen over and tell it I have a green screen, I'll be a floating head.
We've done that before, haven't we, John? I even had the gin and tonic with some very, very green mixer, and the only thing that anybody could see when I did this was just the bare reflection, the outline of the glass.
Oh,
Green T-shirt.
Nanu, nanu.
And what's funny is I just bought it because I wanted a variety of colors, and it didn't even occur to me when I was buying it that it was going to be a green screen T-shirt.
Hey, if it works, it works.
I bought this one. It looks dark red here on the show. I look dark red on the show. I don't. It's because of the lights I'm using, but it's actually kind of a salmon red kind of color. And I went into Ace Hardware, and they're having their summer clearance sale, where they're getting rid of all the summer stuff to make way for the winter stuff. They had all their Carhartt T-shirts on sale, half off. I said, "Ooh, I'll take that one and that one and that one." $20 heavy duty T-shirts. Got them for $10. I mean, that's.
Mm-hmm. While we were grocery shopping, I wandered into the men's clothing department and got myself another short sleeve plaid shirt. There was one that was really beautiful. I loved it, but it was an extra small, which I couldn't even have worn when I was in high school, much less now. And my wife goes, "Oh, you're turning into your dad. You keep buying shirts." I'm going, "Well, I keep wearing them. I only wear them when I leave the house. I don't wear a shirt when I'm at home. What are you complaining about?" Probably the fact that, you know, uh, I'm not some rich Hollywood movie star with enough money to where I could stay at the gym 99% of my time. Uh,
oh. Oops, I did not mean to close that. There we go.
we are really missing our usual troublemakers.
Aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. Where's Richie?
He has D&D on Saturday nights, if I remember correctly.
Oh, okay. That's a good excuse.
Yep. Yeah, I think he's the DM, if I remember correctly.
That's a better excuse. Yeah, without
Dungeon
him, there's
Master?
no game. Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
Roll for initiative.
I try not to roll for anything. The best way for me to play a character is just use cantrips. Don't have to roll, and it's less likely to injure my teammates.
That is kind of ironic. I'm reading this. They had the Burning Man Festival out there in the desert out west. Mm-hmm. And they had a bunch of climate activists that were trying to block the roads and got their asses kicked by a bunch of park rangers. And then the other thing, that the typhoon blew through the area and rained out Burning Man, which it just, there was no infrastructure for dealing with rain. So it just, flooded the whole damn thing.
The usual site is an alkali desert. I mean, seriously, people have to be careful to keep from getting not acid burned, but base burned.
But people are asking, can they get their money back because of the rain at the Burning Man Festival?
Quick answer. Not on your freaking life.
Actually, the answer is no. It is not possible to get a refund under any circumstances. All
that money's already spent. Brand new 280Z. And nobody's seen that video. Good.
Yeah, that was. I mean, heck, it happened with Woodstock. I mean,
nobody cared about money at Woodstock, whether it rained or not. Just stay away from the brown acid.
Oh, who was it that went out there to do his show in the rain? And the first thing he thought was, we got 50,000 watts worth of amplifier behind me, and I'm standing in a puddle of water on a stage with an electric guitar.
Yeah, that's not a good mix.
They played anyway. So.
Yeah, really. Yeah, that was a time that I thought I would never see again until they did the Woodstock Mark II, and it rained just as heavily, but none of the bands were anywhere near as good.
I noticed this when I was in the Army, and we got some off time. We'd try to go to concerts or something like that. I saw some really good concerts, but I didn't get to see the ones I really wanted to see because it never failed. We were deployed somewhere, doing training somewhere. Like after the Berlin Wall came down, Pink Floyd did their Berlin Wall concert, Pink Floyd The Wall. And it was just this huge animated, animatronic thing. And when we heard it was going to go, we were like, oh man, that's cool. And we were going to try and take leave or get a pass to go to because it was in Berlin. We were stationed in Berlin. And we were going to go buy tickets, but we had to check the training schedule. And sure enough, we weren't going to be in town that weekend.
That's always the way.
Isn't it?
That is always the way.
It used to be a running joke in the Tennessee National Guard that if there was a good gun show in the area, it was drill weekend. I got a dog heard me talking. She thinks I'm talking to her, so she's trying to get into my room right now. I'm on the show.
I told our dog right before I turned the camera on, Mama's in bed. Go to bed, little girl. It'll be all right. She actually went in the bedroom. Whether or not she jumped up on the bed, I do not know. She could be sitting right outside my door right now, waiting for me to trip over her on my next trip down the hall.
Saw some good shows, though, when I was in Berlin, though. I got to see Monsters of Rock. It was a regular European. I don't know if they did it in the United States or not. But it toured several cities in Europe,
Mhm.
and it always toured London and Berlin were the two that you could always count on, and then it would change, Munich and Nuremberg and all these different. And I went down there. It's kind of funny. I went down there. Went to the rest, and the concert is at the old Olympic Stadium.
Oh, wow.
They've got a big amphitheater next to the Olympic Stadium. So we're there, and it's Monster Rock, and Ozzy's there, and a few of the AC/DC's there, and no, not Metallica. Can't remember who all was there. There was a German group. I don't know if you ever heard of them, called MSG.
Nope, not familiar, but
I think Y&T was there, if I remember correctly. It's hard to remember. I've been to two of them, and they have like 5 different bands in each one, so I can't remember which one's which right offhand. But the shows, they did the intermission in between the shows. So they're switching the stage around. Ozzy's getting ready to come out, so they just pulled AC/DC off, and so I ran, and the line for the bathroom was just ridiculous. Okay, so I've been there before. I know there's another bathroom way out, almost outside the venue. It's right at the entrance. It's right at the service entrance to the venue. But it's a long walk. Of course, I was in the infantry. I ran all the way down there. I go use the bathroom. There's hardly anybody in there. I come out. And I'm walking back toward the stage area where all my guys were. And this door opens. And it's one of those, authorized personnel only doors. The door opens. Ozzy Osbourne comes walking out. And he looks around. He goes, "Where's the bloody bathroom?" Oh, right down there, past those bushes. Oh, thanks. And he goes staggering off toward the bathroom too. So that's, And I was like, don't they have bathrooms
backstage?
Apparently, though, because it's an amphitheater, basically, they have the same problem backstage that they have in front of the stage. That you've got, it's Monsters of Rock. There's 50 different artists running around out back. It's like
all of them got to take a piss at the same time.
And AC/DC just got off stage, so they're back there doing their business, and their people are back there using the bathroom.
Oop, we got a ping.
Oh,
who's that, John?
Some guy named Rich. I'm going to let him on anyway. Good evening.
Roll for initiative.
You're half right. It's an evening.
Save versus Death Magic.
What's going on, Rich?
32 minutes. It is 1 year down to the minute that my dad passed away.
Oh, heavens. This is really a sad anniversary.
And right about now is either now or a little bit earlier is when I had to give the order to have him unplugged. So it's, Brenda and I were there cleaning out the last of the stuff. There's a couple more things we got to go back for, but we're ready for the professionals to go in for the bulk of the house and clear it out and be able to start getting it on the market. So it's been a day.
Yeah.
Well, there's no way to make it any easier or any better.
No, not really.
Except that college football kicked off today.
TAC was never part of one of your Army training classes, was it, John?
Who doesn't like watching a good college football game? which brings me to my next point. Georgia fans didn't get to see a college football game today because it wasn't televised. It was just on the radio.
Who are they playing?
Some team from Tennessee that I can't remember the name of. It's like, uh, Middle Tennessee Catholic Our Lady of Domino's Pizza or something. I can't remember. But
So let me know when they play UT. That's the only
yeah,
game I care about.
the number one ranked college team in football, and they couldn't find them somebody, you know, with a name. That I just
Am I going to have to leave the room and come back in to quit doing the max headroom shit here?
I don't know. I kind of like the Max Headroom stuff, but yeah, you're probably gonna have to leave and come back.
All right, all right. At
You
least I
don't.
know
I
you're
mean,
here.
I don't know how it works. I mean, it's just
Well, right now it's not working. That's the problem.
you look great.
Well, yeah, I always look great, but I'm not consciously imitating a strobe
Okay,
light.
Dan, go ahead and restart your thing because you're going to give somebody epileptic fits here.
Yeah.
Probably me.
See you in a minute, Dan.
So here's the thing: if you watch Dan's feed close enough, you might actually see a boob.
I don't think Dan's really there. I think he pre-recorded all this stuff, and it's just the iPad overheated from running all the darn video, and that's. He's getting woke up right now by an alarm that says video feed terminated. It's, of course, let me see here. What was that? There was some news story that was pretty darn good that I was going to read earlier. Let's see here. Apparently, Russia has made remarks that Tucker Carlson, the news host, whatever, is a dead man walking because he was speaking badly about Russia. So, and then the other big one is Russia has a nuclear missile complex, kind of like Cheyenne Mountain, and it has gone fully active. It's not in a caretaker mode right now. They've actually got it fully manned, ready to go. So they're making threats. And of course, the interesting thing about this missile complex is it's armed with their newest missile, the Satan II, which, as far as I know, has never passed a launch test since they invented the thing.
So if they do decide to launch it, they may just end up nuking themselves.
Basically, the only people that have to worry about Russian nuclear weapons are Russians. So. Turn the key, comrade. Fuck no.
Not until you show me the report that this thing has successfully flown.
Turn the key, combat. Where's this one launching from? Right over here. Nope.
Nope. And
if we're talking about the 1-3 provinces over, yeah, we'll do that one. Sergey slept with my wife. I'm willing to sacrifice him.
if Putin comes on and threatens to launch nuclear weapons and I were president of the United States, I would just go ahead. This ought to be funny.
How many of them you think are actually going to get off the launch pad?
And we wouldn't have to worry about intercepting them.
I have read a report one time about all the things that can possibly go wrong with a nuclear missile before it ever gets anywhere near the target. And it's just ridiculous, this laundry list of possible failures they have to overcome. And it's the same sort of thing NASA goes through, or SpaceX or any of the other folks, whenever they want to launch something, is, weather. Okay, because, it's hard to launch a nuclear missile in a hurricane. And imagine that. B, if I remember correctly, 80% of Russia's nuclear arsenal is over 30 years old. Some of it saw its heyday in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently, the United States went in and redid all of their. We don't have any 1970s missiles right now. Okay, not with nuclear warheads on them.
No, we sold those to India.
Actually, no, we ran over them with bulldozers so that the Russians could watch. But that was kind of weird. But right now, we don't have a. Right now, as far as I know, we don't have any treaties with Russia that we're following. I don't know if there's SALT 1 and SALT 2. And I don't know if either of them are being followed right now. Because basically, from what I understand, the only people that were actually following those treaties was the United States. And that's really. Then, of course, their ballistic missile subs have a long tradition of blowing up and sinking in the ocean. They've made movies about it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the one thing they do have that we, the United States, don't really have is the mobile launchers. They've got the truck-mounted stuff. We really don't. We kind of do, but we mostly don't, if that makes any sense. We could, if we wanted to put nuclear warheads on missiles, we could have all sorts of missile launchers running around, but we don't. So.
We could have intercontinental ballistic missile Winnebagos if we wanted to.
Have you ever seen, they did a test. They put a nuclear missile, a ballistic missile, like the kind you launch out of a silo. They put it in the back of a cargo plane. It rolls out the back of the cargo plane. A parachute deploys with it. All these parachutes deploy out. It looks like Apollo, but with a missile instead of a capsule. It's dropping down. And somewhere in the middle of it, falling out of the back of this plane, it launches in midair. And goes and does the out of the atmosphere thing and launches multiple reentry vehicles on a target somewhere downrange. That right there, that is the one thing that really scared the hell out of Russia. Because if there's one thing the American Air Force has in abundance, it's cargo planes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the things that makes America such a good military, is that our military airlift command, I can't remember what they're calling it now. They keep changing the name every 30 years or anything. But we have more airplanes just for supporting troops and airplanes than most countries have total in their entire bomber, fighter, and airplane force. That's
what I suspect is that if they decide to go ahead and hit the big red button, Anonymous is going to take over their targeting computers, name them all North Korea.
I kind of like that idea that Russia's a big country. all the missiles in the eastern side of Russia and all the missiles in the western side of Russia launch, and they basically aim at the other launch sites. So you see all these guys in NORAD going, "What the hell?"
Looks like they designed their own targeting systems too.
They stole the wrong ones. Oh, they got them from Atari.
Do not laugh. They used to buy up old Atari cartridges, clear off the the processors on them, and use them as chips in their missile guidance systems.
Still can't hit that damn dog.
I was pretty good at that, actually. Of course, now nowadays it's kind of funny. We have nuclear missiles that were developed in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and stuff like that, and the technology has just expanded. I mean, we launched rockets to the moon. We landed people on the moon with a computer that was not quite as sophisticated as a Commodore 64. Your average cell phone nowadays, your average smartphone has a 200 times more computing power than the Apollo mission had in the rocket.
Mm-hmm.
It makes you wonder what you could actually do with a cell phone as far as drones, missiles, all that other sort of stuff. You ever see the computer for the Saturn V rocket?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of interesting.
Took up a big. Well, no, wait a minute. I'm thinking of the wrong one right now. Go ahead, John.
They've got one down at Huntsville, at Space and Rocket Center, the museum. And it was in a ring in between some of the stage. I can't remember if it was in between. I think it was right above the third stage was where this computer is that would control everything. And it's about, if I remember correctly, it's 3 feet wide and about 50 feet round. It's just this big metal ring that was in between a couple of stages. And the computer is built on the inside of this ring. And there's a really great documentary on it. There's a guy that works at the museum down there in Huntsville who was actually one of the guys that designed this computer. And it's it's a completely mechanical electronic computer. There's no microchips in this thing at all. And it's just, he goes through and he talks about all the different pieces of it. And there was some guy that collects rocket memorabilia, bits and pieces of rockets that have made it out on the big surplus market, who had some of the modules that went in this thing. And he took it down there and showed it to this guy. And this guy showed him in the computer where, there's 3 of them up there. And that's what, and he explained what the module did and everything. It's pretty fun to watch, that sort of stuff. Okay, I did jabbering for 15 minutes. It's somebody else's turn.
The gauntlet has been thrown.
I'm still recovering from jabbering.
So when dealing with a longsword,
I'm
Make
still
sure your
recovering.
opponent has a plastic one and you have a steel one.
Yes. Or make sure you have a gun and do the Indiana Jones method.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go, Rich.
when dealing with a longsword, same one.
Hey, this looks familiar.
Yes.
Technically, this is a hand and half sword. I don't know if you'd call it a long. It's kind of a bastard sword.
Longsword in Dungeons and Dragons doesn't have a real existence in the real world. a long sword in the real world would be a hand and a half or a two-handed sword in Dungeons and Dragons. But yes, technically it's a 28-inch broadsword.
Wonder whatever happened to those guys.
Starfire, I believe they're still around.
Yeah, I think they're still around. They used to come down to conventions all the time. Apparently, nobody's paying them that much anymore. I can only buy so many swords at a time. I tried to help them out, honest.
Yeah, really. Mad Mike still has stuff from Hank's collection, and I'm going, oh, pass me a towel. I'm drooling. Those are beautiful.
Crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentations of the wind. You know, my mom orders those products that had the live, love, laugh decals on it. So if you went through her house for a while, all the mirrors in all her bathrooms had the decal that said live, love, laugh. I was on the internet one day and somebody had, what was it? Crush, see, and hear. That they'd copied the sticker. And I wanted to buy one of those, sneak into my mom's bathroom, put it on the mirror just to see if she'd notice. Crush your enemies. See them driven before you. Hear the lamentations of them.
Yes, I believe their current version of the sword that we both own, John, it goes for $470 because I believe it's the 1 meter ridged broadsword.
I think I paid, I can't remember if it was $165 or $185.
Mine was just under $3 with sheath.
I had a sheath made, but I also got the guy that made the sheath to polish it for me. He did a really nice job polishing it, but he took my edge off of it.
It got a 48-inch ridged claymore. Thing is, I wonder if I could actually wear that from my hip and draw it.
Put it across your back.
No, I actually have a two-handed sword that, much longer blade that I can actually wear on my belt and draw one-handed. That's why I'm like, I wonder if I can actually do that with this one too.
And it's harder to draw one across your back unless you get a really short sheath. You get a whole lot more range of motion.
No, you just got to have it in one of those, what do they call it? If it's on your hip, they call it a frog. I can't remember what they call it when it's on your back. But they've got one that's got straps attached to it so that it floats. So that's, you go grab the sword, pull it off. It actually partially comes with.
And another thing is you have like the last 6 inches here notched so that the last 6 inches you can just pivot out instead of, and it makes it easier to put back in across your back as well. Kind of a cheater scabbard.
And we do have Donna in the chat now.
Oh, hey, Donna. Sorry, we were talking about swords. We didn't notice pretty girls.
Well, at least we were measuring each other's swords, so.
I thought there was a little measuring going on.
I've got one that's attached to a pike staff. Have you ever? There was this great movie called Quills. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. Jeffrey Rush. Oh, darn it! What's her name from Titanic?
Kate Winslet.
Kate Winslet's in it. I'm so terrible with names. Um, played Alfred in the latest Batman movies. Michael Caine. Michael Caine's in it, and
Oh, okay, no, because the latest Alfred was Andy Serkis.
really, I haven't seen that one yet.
Yeah,
But,
that was the Batman with sparkly vampire dude, Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah,
Yeah, the Christopher Nolan and Christian Bale. Yeah, Michael Caine.
okay, wait a minute. Sorry to be late. She was having champagne and got drunk and couldn't make it to the computer. No, wait. No, got home from a quick run to Champagne and about 35 miles away. One of my brothers. Whitman dude is exhausted, so he's in bed early. Okay, good to know. We were worried about you because, well, we were.
Well, he'll get lots of sleep watching us tomorrow on the replay because we've been boring tonight.
Na, 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 na.
Yeah, I've been kind of maudlin. I apologize.
It's all right. It's all right. You got a good reason.
Yeah.
And oh, what's his name? Joaquin Phoenix was in it too, and Jeffrey Rush plays the Marquis de Sade in the movie.
Okay, so he got the best for it.
And he's been committed to an insane asylum.
Well, yeah, Alphonse did get around.
And funny thing, he kept talking about, he kept writing, basically he wrote porn.
Yeah.
And he kept writing about, I need to come up with a better name than Pike Staff.
Oh. The University of Georgia on the 6th floor has the complete works of the Marquis de Sade bound in black leather.
Ooh.
Yes, that's what I thought when I saw it when I was a teenager.
Wait a minute. Are the books bound in black leather, or is the Marquis de Sade bound in black leather? Because there is a distinction.
They don't have his corpse there. No, they've got the books.
You never know. Because,
and unless that was
weird things have been done with corpses by
unless that was on the 12th floor in the special collections department that I never got access to. I just ran across it in the card catalog, and that is a thing. Card catalog. Does anybody know what a card catalog is anymore besides, well, our favorite cryptid?
Okay. You got me talking about, you used to see these things about if you could travel back in time and meet one person, who would it be? Okay. And I was like, there ain't nobody I want to go meet, but I would like to go back in time and see the Library of Alexandria back in its heyday.
Can you read Greek?
I got time and a machine with time.
You could learn, yeah.
If we use the one in the background of
just take this with me and take pictures of everything and bring it back. Yeah. They got phones that'll translate Greek for you. But just all that stuff that a lot of people don't know this, but everybody thinks there was one fire at the Library of Alexandria. What they don't realize is the Library of Alexandria was kind of a college. Several buildings spread all over the place, and there was a medical section and a philosophy section and an engineering section, all these different sections to it. And I can't remember which part, but when the Romans set fire to the Egyptian fleet and accidentally burnt down that was the first time the library caught fire. They only burnt one section of it. There were actually 5 fires in its history. The Romans were responsible for 1. Christians were responsible for 2. and Islam was responsible for the last two.
Surprise is not felt.
Well, the one guy, when he went in and he found all the scrolls that were from the and books and stuff in the Library of Alexandria, he sent back to the I can't remember the name of it. The guy that was in charge of this Muslim crusade.
The
He sent
caliphate.
back. He sent back to him and he says, "What do I do with all these books?" And the guy sent back, "Burn them." He says, if they agree with what is in the Holy Quran, they're superfluous and we don't need them. If they disagree with what's in the Holy Quran, they're blasphemous and they need to be burnt anyway.
Short-sighted little motherfucker, wasn't he?
Weren't they? Yeah. And they've been trying to kill everybody since then. So.
Yeah.
And that was the last time the Library of Alexandria burned. So they knew, however, they now have a new library. It's a pretty thing, and it's got all sorts of electronic stuff in it, and it'll actually make books for you. Apparently, that's a new thing that a lot of the big libraries have, that all the books are electronic. And if you want a copy, you have to pay. You have to go to this machine, buy the copy of the book, and the machine will print it and bind it for you on the spot.
Oh. How many people have gone to that library hunting a copy of the Necronomicon? I want to know.
But we were just talking about, the complete works of the Marquis de Sade, which means that somebody could walk into a library, punch it up on the computer, and start kicking out pages.
Well, it was like 20-something books, an inch and a half thick each.
I thought most of his books were really small. Because it was like pulp fiction sort of thing.
Yeah. I'm not really sure. All I know is how much space it took up on the shelf. I didn't check any of them out. Wasn't my cup of tea. I was just going, oh, wow, that's a thing. I like that.
All right. Let me look that up real quick.
But it did say it was the complete work, so it might have been more than just the published stuff. It might have been notes collected afterwards as well. I don't know. I haven't the faintest.
It probably got a forward by Hugh Hefner.
Like I said, I didn't check them out. I just found them.
Let me see here. The Marquis de Sade, d'Antienne Alphonse Francois Marquis de Sade. It's a nice name. Oh, he got thrown in jail for a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, had a great time.
He was imprisoned or committed for 32 years of his life. And the time was divided between facilities such as the Chateau de Vincennes, the Bastille, and the Carentan Asylum, where he died. And that's
Bastille
where
the Bastille is the one that everybody knows about.
All right. He was the movie I was telling you about takes place at the Carentan Asylum. So let's see. And then let's see. It doesn't say. It doesn't say how many books he wrote. Justine, that's the one I heard of, and then 120 Days of Sodom.
Yeah.
See here.
I've heard the titles before. I've never read them.
Yeah, I've never read them either. Add that to the bucket list.
And by today's standards, most of them would probably be pretty damn mild.
Well, like I said, he kept using the word pike staff over and over and over again. So it does not say. I'm trying to find. He did short fiction, libertine novels,
Uh-huh.
uh, literary criticism. Oh, he was a literary critic too.
No wonder they put him in an insane asylum.
Apparently, he didn't like gothic fiction, which was apparently very popular at the time. Let's see. What do they not have? I'm looking here trying to figure out. Normally they have a list of all his works or something like that, and they'll tell you how
Uh-huh.
many of them he did. I'm not seeing any of that here. They
All I know is what I saw in the library bookshelf was a sizable chunk of bookshelf.
there's some guy that he's big into the BSDM movement, and he goes, Sod is in a way our Shakespeare.
Makes sense, yeah. I mean, you laugh, but yeah, it makes sense for them.
Well, no, I'm keep reading. Apparently, Napoleon Bonaparte is the one who ordered his arrest. And then,
Yeah, the books were always checked out. He couldn't get one out of the library.
but you bet he read all of them.
He was worried he might be in one.
This is true. Let's see.
And now there's a bunch of people who think they are him that are in one.
There was this movie I saw one time. I'm trying to remember the name of the famous French lover,
Casanova.
Casanova. Thank you. And it was a movie I saw on HBO when I was a kid. Pretty cool. And it takes place. It's during the French Revolution.
Yeah.
And literally the revolution is going on around them, and they're taking a stagecoach from one city to another, and one of the people on the stagecoach is Casanova. And then there's all these people on the stagecoach that he's having these interactions with while they're traveling down the road, and it turns out one of the people in the stagecoach is Marie Antoinette in hiding. She is running for her life, and it's her and two of Louis the whatever, King Louis's kids. She's got two of his kids with her, and they're trying to flee Paris to get out from the country and such, and she's under an assumed name. But it's kind of funny. Casanova kind of recognizes her, and everybody knows who Casanova is. So it's pretty good. It was a pretty good story because it was an older Casanova in the twilight of his years and living on the fame that he had acquired.
According to one encyclopedia I read, he should be credited as the inventor of the condom.
I've heard that.
Don't know if it's true or not.
Well, he never
Why
had
was
any
I
kids
reading an encyclopedia?
because we had them.
That was our internet back in the day.
Kids today just will not understand writing a book report and having to do the bibliography from an encyclopedia, either the one in the classroom, the one in the library, or if you were lucky, your parents owned a set.
Collier's. Yes, indeed. My folks had the entire set.
We had Funky Wagnalls.
Funky Wagnall?
My parents bought me Funkin' Wagnalls when I was in high school, and I don't remember the ones that they had.
There was, of course, Encyclopedia Britannica was the big one.
That was the big one. Yeah, that was the one that
Funkin' Wagnalls was another big
people
one.
came to the door and said, "Would you like to buy a set of encyclopedias?"
Something American, New
easy-
American, or
Okay, that I should know.
we had one of those.
but I
We had one of
shouldn't.
those too. And then Collier's,
Collier's.
and then the Webster's, I think, had one.
Could be.
List of-
Oh, weird. The YouTube on my iPad just started the show over again.
Aw.
That's okay. The comments are still live. That's the only reason I'm using the iPad for YouTube. No, I'm going to close it out anyway because I'm not using it to comment on anything. It's probably because the charger is on like 6% and it's on. Maybe something ain't plugged in all the way.
Okay, Collins. Penguin. That was another
Penguin, yeah.
one. Let me see here. Blackwell. Oh, that's a specific one. It's an encyclopedia of industrial archaeology.
Hey, that sounds interesting.
Could be. Depends on what your medieval archaeology. There's another one. Oxford.
Oxford, yeah.
Webster. Cambridge. Imagine that. Oxford's got one. Cambridge would have to have one too.
Of course. Sibling rivalry.
No kidding. The Encyclopedia Britannica. Let's see here. Collier Macmillan.
Now, another set that my parents had gotten was the Collier's Encyclopedia of Mythology. And that was in 10 or 12 volumes. And it covered all sorts of mythologies from around the world. Not just Greek and Roman, but They were Scandinavian and I think Chinese and Indian and
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
No, that one wasn't in there. But
It should have been. Grolier, Funkin' Wagnalls, everything and everything to Edinburgh Encyclopedia. Compton's.
Yeah.
Columbia. Those are all the English. Of course, every country had their own too. So they had the Great Soviet Encyclopedia, which was replaced by the Great Russian Encyclopedia. The Ukrainian Soviet Encyclopedia.
I've got one that was actually done by H.G. Wells back here behind the curtain.
Tolkien had a hand in, was it Oxford's? The Oxford Dictionary and the Oxford Encyclopedias, if I remember correctly.
Either or Britannica.
And he wrote a book and turned it into an author, and the author told him that's not how these words are spelled. And he's like, "Hey, I wrote the dictionary, dumbass. I'll tell you how it's spelled." Of course, he
Oh.
didn't use the word dumbass. He used something much more eloquent.
And
Orc
here we
filth.
go again. I shall return after rebooting the computer one more time.
Okay, Max, we'll see you in a minute. Okay, everybody leave while he's gone. That's
Now, when he comes back in, everybody just start mouthing words.
you know, I was we're not nice people. You know that. We're fun.
Hey,
We're not nice.
my parents named me Dick. I get to live up to it.
That's true.
Of course, my wife will be like, "You don't have to." I didn't say I have to. I said I get to. There's a difference. This is a privilege.
When we were living in Florida, my mom was working at a bar and she ran into a comedian that was working at the club she was working in. And his name was Dick Gold. Just small time comedian, nothing, big. But she winds up buys his album because he's funny as hell. And one of the jokes he would start off with, "Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Dick Gold." He says, "Yeah, I know." It says it's kind of a funny name. It says you should have tried going to the army with it, where they put your first name last name first. Just can you imagine having to live up to it? So I had a theme song picked out too. Goldfinger. That's just.
I want to paint all the Yoo-Hoo's gold.
Is there anyone else here who thinks it funny that my friend's name is Biggest Dickus? And for anybody who's never seen that movie, Monty Python's The Life of Brian. Okay. And they're making fun of the name Biggest Dickus. They had these actors come in, like what do you call the actors that don't have speaking lines? Extras.
Extras.
They had the extras come in, dressed them up in Roman uniforms as Roman guards, and told them, if you laugh during this scene, you don't get paid. Then they had Michael Palin do the jokes about Biggest Dickus.
Yeah, I don't think anybody got paid that day.
And you can see them trying their best not to laugh. But, yeah. So next time you get a chance to watch Life of Brian, watch that scene and you'll realize exactly what I'm talking about. So. Joe keeps doing all these classic horror movies for HallowCon.
Mm-hmm.
One year for HallowCon, we need to get him to do the entire Monty Python. Well, he can't because they're not. What's the word?
Public domain.
Public domain. They're not public domain. But wonder what you'd have to do to actually show those. Monty Python, it can't cost that damn much. A couple plates of bangers and mash, you'd probably get their whole collection.
3 cans of spam.
Spam.
Yes, and my internet going partially out and partially back in over and over again is exactly why I'm a week late in doing all the Apelian stuff this month.
Try resetting your router, Dan. Just after the show, turn everything off, unplug your router, let it sit overnight or whatever. Turn it on, plug it in, plug everything in back in the morning.
Yeah.
Because, give you an example. I was talking earlier about how the Georgia game was on radio. Okay, they didn't put it on television. We tried to get Alexa to play it. She couldn't play it. Why? Because everybody that was online was trying to listen to the Georgia game on their phones and tablets and Alexas and every other damn thing. So, 250,000 Georgia fans online. Oh, while you're here, I'm going to take a bathroom break. Be back in a minute.
Okay. Go right ahead.
All right. Oh, wait.
Ow. Okay, that feels better, but it didn't at the time. Hope that didn't come through the microphone since it is bone conduction and those were bones popping.
So last night when I was helping Dawn with trying to get her video and audio to work in the green room,
Mm-hmm.
I realized just how sensitive this microphone is because I was remoted into her computer, so with her I started like a little StreamYard just like recording studio so that I could make sure her video was working and actually hear her. Well, being remoted in, I could hear myself also. And I cracked all the knuckles on my hands, and I could hear it come back through her speakers or through her computer. I'm like, okay, it's a pretty sensitive microphone. Later on in the night, I popped my neck. Never heard it come through, and it's closer than what my fingers were, and sounded substantially louder.
Yeah, but that was bone conduction. Yeah. Oh.
Oh, come on, Spotify, email me back. I'd like to upload my podcast.
Greetings, John.
I wasn't gone that long.
No, you weren't. Not long at all.
I'm really surprised Joe didn't drop in here.
Give him time. He'll probably check in to see whether or not I've dozed off
When he
in the
does, we
middle
all
of
leave.
last minute spending.
Second he clicks a button, we all leave. Thanks, Joe. Close the show. And
Yeah, really. Yeah, we're tired. You do it. You're here. It's your freaking show. Ooh, that felt better. That was multiple vertebrae going. Release. I had bought Lindsay a little bitty electric chainsaw, one of those one-handed with about a 6 or 8 inch blade on it.
Mhm.
Took it out today and used it for the first time. That sucker's amazing. It went through tree branches like a hot knife through butter.
Mm-hmm.
The chain did get a little bit loose from the heat. When I brought it back in, I just put it away and I go, we'll have to check that tomorrow and see if the blade has actually stretched or if it just got hot and temporarily stretched. If it does need to have uh, the blade shaft itself extended to tighten up the chain, that would be a good chance for me to show her how to do that because it's not something she's never really used a chainsaw before, gasoline or electric, and I am impressed with how much how many tree limbs I cut through before the battery started getting weak. So about an hour, hour and a half.
Not
That's
bad.
fairly good for a battery that is basically not quite as large as two D cells. And I thought, okay, this shows promise. Uh, oh, and we do have muscadimes this year. We thought we didn't have any,
Ooh,
but we
nice.
do. We do. We've got quite a few. Um, Unfortunately, most of them are way higher than the tallest ladder that I've got. So we can only get maybe a gallon or so. But there's like 20 gallons more further up the damn tree.
That's the fruit that you had that fermented on the vine and got the deers drunk, right?
That's right.
Yeah, we used to
And
have a lot of fun with those. When I was going to Hickson Elementary School here in Chattanooga area, um, their playground had muscadine vines in the woods around the playground. Of course, I lived like 300 yards from. I lived 100 yards from the school, so, but the playground was about 300 yards. We used to go out there and eat the muscadines all the time and dig up sassafras root and fun stuff like that.
hmm
Of course, you get the city kids thought you were gross for eating stuff like that, and it's like, it's city kids. Um, Blackberry bushes. We had crayfish in the creek, fun stuff like that.
honeysuckle.
Honeysuckle. Yeah, they didn't know that either.
Yeah, I imagine so.
What was the little purple flower that was kind of like honeysuckle
Which
that you
one?
pull off? Huh? And you pull
I
off
said,
the little
which one?
um, darn it, I can't remember. It, best way to describe it.
Hopefully, it wasn't morning glory.
No. It was
Burdock?
huh?
Burdock?
No. And it had the little. Each of the petals was kind of like a spike, and you pull it off, and it had honey on the bottom of it, or nectar. Um, darn it.
Honeysuckle's the only thing I know that does that, but I'm not saying there can't be something else.
Okay.
Now, as a kid, we had morning glory in the flower beds around the carport, and I looked at the seeds they produced, and I go, "Oh wow, that's just the right size to be a hand grenade for GI Joe." They were just these little wrinkly black pellets. They were hard as a rock, and unfortunately, it later came to light that those things were slightly dangerous, and humans should not be around them or handling them or making college student use of them. Uh, Sort of like Jimson weed. You don't really want to mess with that stuff. Uh, so some of the finest minds of my time turned to mush. I believe that was a quote from the Lemmings album, which was some people from Saturday Night Live, some people from Second City, and another comedy troupe that were doing stuff in the early 1970s, and put it out on an album that was a parody of Woodstock. Lots of really great music, but it was funny as all get out. Got to see uh, the whole thing adapted as um, not a TV special, but it was broadcast on the TVs in the University of Georgia Memorial Hall food court, basically, and it was really strange seeing uh, some of the folks from Saturday Night Live who were obviously way younger than what you could see on TV at the same time once Saturday Night Live
Oh,
existed.
hey Dan, it was
Yeah.
red clover seeds or red clover flowers.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Little purple bulb thing. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
I looked that up.
Thank you.
No, I was trying, and we used to go out and find them out in the grass and pull them
Oh,
out.
yeah. Yeah. We planted entire fields of that stuff. Um, and Dad made the mistake of trying to harvest the seed after it had dried. Went through it with a combine. That was fine. Tried to unload it into the truck. The seeds are so small and it compacted so much that it wrung the blade off of the auger that was supposed to pump everything out of the combine. So Dad had to get another auger and install it, and then figure a way to block off the uh, the grain bin so that it had just a teeny tiny gap that would let just a few seeds in at a time and not destroy the auger again. And after he got through with that year's worth, he said, I ain't never doing that again. Too much trouble. This was after he had already figured out a way to do it successfully.
Are you guys familiar with Daniel Radcliffe from the Harry Potter series?
Not on a personal level, but yes.
You do know. Okay, this is interesting. He has been undergoing. He's been doing bodybuilding, and he's been doing this. I'm trying to remember. It's called Miracle Abs, and let's see what's the best way to describe it. Anyway, the talk is that everyone wants him to be the new Wolverine in the Marvel universe.
Isn't he too tall?
No, actually, he's about the right height because he's not that tall. I think he's our height, Dan. So. But
I think Hugh Jackman was technically too tall.
yeah,
Yeah, Hugh Jackman was way too tall.
Yeah, I remember when they wanted Bob Hoskins to play Wolverine, which he would have been awesome. But let me see. Let me show you this picture. This is Daniel Radcliffe at one of his workouts. He's getting fairly ripped there.
Yep, I would say
Yeah.
so.
So anyway, there's a big thing about trying to get Daniel Radcliffe to be the new Wolverine. He's almost got the hair. If you can see the beard.
He
and
could
the
do
hair.
it. He could do it.
Yeah.
Can you do a Canadian accent?
No, he's English. He didn't know how to do a Canadian accent.
Well, neither does Hugh Jackman.
Which is one of the reasons everybody wanted Bob Hoskins to be Wolverine back in the 80s. Because especially he played a sergeant major in the movie Zulu Dawn. For those of you that, if you ever watch this movie and you see his character, if you watch his character zoomed on, he is Wolverine. Okay, and then of course he went and did Who Framed Roger Rabbit, where everybody thought, hey, he's got the comedy chops too. He'd be a great Wolverine. And then about half the time he played a gangster of some sort of fashion. So it's kind of
Yeah.
And then of course he played a really good character in Mermaids alongside Cher, Winona Ryder, and Christina Ricci. So that's
I'll take your word for it.
really, you've never seen that one?
Nope.
Really? It's actually pretty good. A little sappy. Bob Hoskins plays a great character. Cher's kind of goofy, but that's.
I've seen Witches of Eastwick, but not Mermaids. No.
Mermaids was pretty good. Winona Ryder was goofy, but she was supposed to be. And then Christina Ricci was just cute. I mean, you can see why they made her Wednesday Addams, though. That's.
Mm-hmm. Well, she had the deadpan delivery down pat.
Yes. So what's the other? She was in Casper the Friendly Ghost.
Yeah, that one I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to remember all her early stuff. I think that was it. I think that was her 3 early. I can't think of anything else she did before that. Of course, I could be wrong. I'm old. My mind wanders and slips, falls, can't get up, has to press the button and get the paramedic show up. And let's see here. Odd.
Oh, what's odd?
Just all these different Christinas that popped up that I've never heard of. Let's see here. Of course, Speed Racer.
Oh, yes. Speed Racer.
Of course, she wasn't that young in that one. But Small Soldiers. She was the voice of the Wendy dolls. And let's see, Addams Family. Cemetery Club. I don't remember that one. Sure. Yeah. Casper was right after Addams Family Values, which was the second one.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. Gold Digger, Secret of Bear Mountain, Now and Then, Bastard Carolina, Simpsons, Last Night Kings, where I had that darn cat, Ice Storm, Buffalo Sea Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. I don't remember her being in that one. Then Small Soldiers, Sleepy Hollow, which she played an awesome character in that one. Let's see, Nation, Malcolm in the Middle, Alabama Gathering, Monster. Yeah, I remember that one. Cursed. She played a werewolf, and then Speed Racer. Willie Pan Am. She was one of the stewardesses in that series. Smurfs 2. She did the voice of Vexy. The Lizzie Borden Chronicles. She played Lizzie Borden. And Lizzie Borden took an act. She played Lizzie Borden. 24. I've never seen that one.
Neither have I.
Well, after Addams Family, she had X training. So,
Rick and Morty. Okay, I may have to go look at that. Oh, this is funny. They had her doing the voice of Kathy Ireland. Then, of course, in the movie Wednesday, the new one that's out, she played Marilyn Thornhill. She actually had a role in there, which was kind of nice. Mm-hmm. She plays Harley Quinn in the podcast series Harley Quinn and the Joker Sound Mind.
Okay.
And she's in the TV series Yellow Jackets. I have not seen that one, but it looks kind of supernatural kind of thingy. So may have to look that one up here soon. Guess what my mom gave me? Went over to her house to help her with their medical stuff, right? And so now she doesn't really have cable TV anymore. She went and bought a Fire Stick.
Okay.
And apparently she bought them at a 2-for-1 sale.
Oh, so you've got a Fire Stick.
I have not installed it or fired it up yet or anything like that. But I was watching hers. It's kind of weird, though, compared to most cable systems. The menus are weird. They don't have channels for the menu. Like, if you go on a regular
Yeah, it
cable
is
service,
kind of weird.
yeah, and then you click on it, and it tells you what shows are on. So you can't like look up CNN or ABC or something like that. But it does have sections like news and sports. So it's like that. I didn't play around with the movies much. I was too busy trying to see what was on the TV part. Back in the day, I've got a TV right here behind me. It's behind the green screen. See? It's back there in that closet. Okay. And I used to keep it on all the time. It's CNN or something just playing in the background. Noise. And I have not, I don't know, I got out of TV. Then there's so many movies on the internet now, you really don't have to have a TV anymore, which Fire Stick's pretty much internet TV. And
Same as Roku, yeah.
Dan, you'll like this. I just got finished watching the 6-part miniseries from the BBC of the 1979 Tinker, Tailor, Soldier, Spy
Oh, wow.
by John le Carre, starring Alec Guinness and Ian Banning and a few other people in it that were kind of famous. Still are, technically. Just they're dead now, so posthumously. But and it's kind of fun. You know, they got the new series out where in the old series, Alec Guinness played George Smiley. In the new series, they had Gary Oldman playing George Smiley.
Excuse me.
Bless you. And it's just really different the way the two were filmed. Just, I don't know. We lost Dan. I don't know. Lieutenant Dan. Lieutenant Dan.
You
Lieutenant
got
Dan.
new legs, Lieutenant Dan.
You can't run away then, Lieutenant Dan. You ain't got no leg.
He's got new legs.
Yeah. Lots of legs. Whew. Had to take some more medication.
I think the best way to describe mermaids is quirky, because everybody in it had their quirks. So and then Bob Hoskins was just Bob Hoskins, which was kind of cool.
Which is where this entire digression started.
You had a quirky Cher, a quirky Winona Ryder, and a quirky Christina Ricci, and then there was Bob Hoskins. You know, now that I think about it, if Christina Ricci's character in that had been written as a boy, it would have been Married with Children.
Yeah.
Because Bob Hoskins worked in a shoe store. Cher played a mom who didn't cook. Winona Ryder played a goofy, ditzy teenage girl. And Christina Ricci was the cute one that, like, never mind. It's-
One of my old roommates used to watch Married with Children religiously. I was not fond of the show, but I didn't object too much because he let me watch Doctor Who. It was his apartment, so
And of course, there was the Dark Shadows bunch when I was a kid in school. That everybody had to. It's like all their. This was when digital watches were still a pretty neat idea. Everyone would be sitting there, we'd be playing, and all of a sudden, beep, beep, beep. Everybody, I gotta go home.
mm-hmm. Did that
Wow,
too.
what's up? Dark Shadows is on. Dark Shadows.
Um,
What? That's. See. Okay, who had 1239? Anybody?
I think that was Bachman. He wins the pot.
Bachman wins the pot. Okay.
That's $100 I'm out of now.
I'm getting complaints. Y'all guys are so damn boring. They're falling asleep.
Oh. I thought you wanted to sleep. Is that why you showed up?
They called.
That's why he showed up. Yeah, right.
We've only got 20 minutes left, if that. So that's. Then Carl and Donna were busy today. Carl can't be on the show because he done passed out. Donna showed up. Then Dawn ain't showed up.
Yeah,
Don's asleep.
Dawn's asleep.
Zach didn't show up. I sent him a link. Heck, even the Russian spam bots didn't show up.
Yeah, really.
Well, if I could get some, if I could remember the password to my other YouTube accounts, yeah, the Russian bots would have been here.
Okay. Joe was too tired to be on the show, but he went to Waffle House without us.
No, Donna wanted to go to Waffle House, and I had to get up and go to Waffle House.
If ever a restaurant needed to have delivery service,
they do Grubhub.
Yeah, but it's not the same. I mean, they need to have like little white and yellow cars with the Waffle House logo on the side. People fighting on top.
And doesn't Grubhub cost an extra $50?
Oh shit!
So how you doing, Joe?
Tired. I'm fixing to jump out of here. I just was listening to y'all on the way home talking about clover seeds breaking augers and combines.
It's true to life.
That
And
tells
it's
you I
not
was listening.
copyrighted. And it's not going to get you demonetized.
We're not gonna get a copyright strike, and you're not gonna get kicked off of.
Well, I guess y'all covered the bad news of Saturday, didn't you?
Jimmy Buffett dying? Or?
Yeah.
Yep, covered that. John even made a margarita.
Jimmy Buffett died today.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I believe, actually.
He died on the 1st. They announced it on the 2nd. Apparently, it was complications from cancer. He had skin cancer or something.
Oh. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to bed. I'll holler at y'all later.
You're going to stay here for another 20 minutes.
No, I'm out of here.
We're leaving. You're closing the show.
Yeah, you can't stop me.
All right.
Accepted.
I'll start. I'll call him at home. Okay. Then we wait another 3 minutes and somebody else calls him at home. Then the next person calls him home. Then the next person calls him home. And then we'll just Hey, there's an idea. We'll just put his name up here. Let's see, phone number. Hang on a second here. Joe's phone number. Let's see here.
Don't do it, John.
Oh
You
yeah,
have
I'm
so
doing it.
much left to live for. Just turn the phone off.
And there we go. Everybody call Joe's number.
And it goes straight to voicemail. Ah.
Let's see.
No. First he comes in and says, "Oh, everybody was calling and complaining you're so boring." And the truth comes out. I was driving home from Waffle House.
Yeah, there you go.
Mhm.
Okay, there's a good number there.
Dare I even want to know what that number actually is?
Sure, call it. It won't hurt much.
Orlando Police Department.
No, it's. I would not do that to a police department. I have not done that to a police department since I was a teenager. When we first got call forwarding, these girls kept calling the house, prank phone calling me and my brother. So I forwarded their call to the police department.
When my mom worked at the hospital, they had a specific phone on the floor that was basically an emergency phone. She called it the bat phone because it never rang, and it was only in case like power went out. It was the one phone that would still work. And she was a unit secretary, and she's sitting there, and one night, and the phone rings. How how'd someone get this number? So she answers it. ICU, Bachman Unit Secretary. Oh, is John there? No. You're calling a hospital, the ICU unit. Oh, okay. I hang up. A few minutes later, phone rings again. Same person. No, you have the wrong number. Not even sure how you got this number. Finally, the fourth time it rang, she answers it. Valparaiso Pizza Hut. Oh, I think I have the wrong number. She goes, really? I answered the phone as the hospital the first 3 times, and now you're going to believe it's the Pizza Hut?
We're not going to ask how you rigged that.
No, that was actually before my time.
Have you ever heard of the practical joke phone call where you call it pretending to be from the phone company? Tell them you've got linemen working in the line. It says, and they may hear the phone. It says, from now until 12 o'clock, it says, you may hear the phone ring. Do not answer your phone. Okay. Because the linemen are working on it. They're working on the electrical part of it. It says, if you answered the phone between now and 12 o'clock, you might electrocute one of our linemen. So please, whatever you do, do not answer the phone between now and 12 o'clock. Ooh, okay. You wait until right before 12 o'clock. You call them back. When they answer the phone, you go, ah!
I have heard that one.
No, the one I pulled, the high school marching band was invited to go do a parade at Disney World back in the mid 70s. So, mid 70s teenagers wound up in a hotel, unsupervised, basically,
No.
in Disney World. And they discovered that they could call other rooms in the hotel. They did this for about 2 hours, and nobody knew how to deal with it. Nobody knew how to stop it. Rung up the room that I was in with the other three guys that I was assigned to bunk with. I picked up the phone, pitched my voice as deep as it would go for a 16-year-old, and go, Orlando Police Department. We didn't get another crank call from the rest of the band for about an hour and a half, and then they figured it out. That was Dan, wasn't it? That was Dan, wasn't it? I mean, he's got that voice. Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah. We'll call him back and tell him that. And I didn't answer the phone anymore. I let the other guys handle it. Um, I did my good deed for the day. Oh, that was the same trip where I stayed and watched the fireworks and missed the bus back to the hotel.
Oops.
And chaperones came and got me in a Cadillac.
Um,
I didn't get in trouble, but I did get to ride in a Cadillac.
I won't mention his name, but I had a friend in high school who at the time was a radio DJ. And he still is. He still does radio work here in Chattanooga. He used to call people and they'd kind of recognize his voice from the radio. He used to call them, hello, is this so-and-so? You're the winner of the KZ106. Says, I just need to get some tickets on you and we'll send you that check right now. Says, okay, what's your name? And the answer, he says, I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Can you speak up a little bit? And they speak a little louder. And he's, I'm sorry, there must be a bad connection. I can still barely hear you. Can you speak up louder? And you hear these people on there and they're, James Madison. He says, is that Karen Hamilton? No, James Madison. I'm sorry, this connection is terrible. Listen, call the station and get in touch with me, and they'll get you that $106 that you're doing. And he'd hang up, and they'd call the radio station wanting their $106.
Yeah, that's fraud right there. There was a guy I used to listen to on a rock music station, and then the rock music station became a talk radio station. And this guy wound up working at one of the country stations. And somebody else had tuned the radio near where I was working. I recognized his voice, and I went and called him. And put in a request for some innocuous country song that I didn't totally hate. And we got talking, and he goes, "Yeah, I had to find a new gig after the rock station went to talk radio." And I go, "Oh yeah. Well, it's kind of weird hearing your voice on the country station." He goes, "Oh yeah, country's all right." And I go, "Oh yeah. Have you ever heard of that new combination of country and rap that they've just come out with?" He goes, "Oh no, what's that?" I go, "Yeah, they call it crap." He damn near hung up on me, but he was laughing the entire time. I think he used it with an online joke later on, or not online, but on air joke later on. Not my voice, just the joke itself. But sometimes I have my moments where I come up with some things that people just aren't expecting at the time. Memories. right, now how am I supposed to top this on Last Man Standing? Read from the Encyclopedia Britannica.
Funky Wagnalls. Yeah.
Stick that in your funkin' wagnalls.
I wonder
We can always pull out
what
Urban
my
Dictionary.
parents. I wonder what my
You
parents
wrote the
did
Book
with
of
their
Love.
encyclopedias.
I know exactly where my parents' copy is. It's still on the bookshelf of the house. Uh, and I was able to find at least half of the Encyclopedia of Mythology in different used bookstores. Not the whole thing, even though I read the whole thing when I was a kid, but still looking to try and finish that collection. I ought to really go on eBay and look for the missing volumes.
My
That'd be
grandmother had ordered a set of encyclopedias, and it came with all these really cool side books, like
Mhm.
promotional things that if you bought the set of encyclopedias, you get all these other books to go with it. And one of them was a collection of science fiction short stories for kids.
Okay.
And I wish I still had that thing because it was pert near awesome. I I wish I could remember the name of some of the authors because I'm pretty sure it was all classic sci-fi literature too, like Asimov, Roddenberry, and Saberhagen, and stuff like that.
Someone has not fulfilled their promise of going to bed.
Actually, he's probably laying in bed with his cell phone. That's- Hi,
Typical.
Donna.
Use a bigger frying pan.
What I tell you?
Uh huh. Come on. Oh. Now, one of the weird things my parents had alongside the encyclopedia was a rather large copy of Milton's Paradise Lost and Paradise Regained.
Hey,
And I read those at a very, very young age.
I got an
And
idea.
people thought that I would not understand them.
Okay.
I
Joe
understood
is
them entirely too well.
Joe is in bed listening to the show on his cell phone with Donna and a bunch of dogs and cats, right? That's,
Who's that at the door?
Housekeeping.
yeah, really.
Oh, that actually happened at the local mall. Somebody pretending to be housekeeping came up and knocked on the door to a couple of the stalls and then robbed people at gunpoint.
Oh,
Yeah, that became a running joke at work. Uh, Guys that just walked by the stall, they knew someone was in, go, knock, 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 housekeeping! And the only thing you'd hear from inside the stall was, joke didn't last very long. Uh, Nobody opened the damn doors, though.
Well, guess what time it is, folks?
It's almost the end of the show.
It is. Well, it is.
It's nighty time. It's night. Oh, wait, no. It's howdy doody. Nope.
Now is the time to say goodbye to all.
Time to GTFO?
Good night, everybody. Thanks for hanging with us, no matter how long. See you real soon. MSTKYMOU.
I have slipped the surly bonds of earth and danced the skies on laughter-silvered wings. Sunward I've climbed and joined the tumbling mirth of sun-split clouds and done 100 things you have not dreamed of. Wheeled and soared and swung high in the sunlit silence. Hovering there, I've chased the shouting wind along and flung my eager craft through footless halls of air. Up, up the long, delirious, burning blue, I've topped the windswept heights with easy grace, when never lark nor even eagle flew. And while with silent, lifting mind, I've trod the high, untrespassed sanctity of space, put out my hand, and touched the face of God.
Did not get